Hey! Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the SheVisionary Webinar. And I am your host, Candace B. Woods. I'm your mindset architect. Hello, hello, hello. Oh, my goodness. Sorry. But anyway, I just wanted to take an opportunity to thank you guys for joining me on tonight. It has been a amazing journey, just getting started, getting in the groove, getting in the habit of doing these webinars. And so I'm excited that you guys have taken the time out to join me these past 4 nights. Actually, I started on last Thursday and Friday, and I did one last night, and I'm here again tonight. And so I am perfecting it, and I am really just enjoying myself, just being able to get into the groove and to share my story and a lot of my content with you guys. And so again, thank you for just being on the journey with me, and want to go ahead and get started with tonight's webinar. So before I get started though, I want to go ahead and just do a little bit of housekeeping, if you will. Right at the bottom of your screen, for those of you who are on my my main page that has Candace B. Woods at the top, right at the bottom, there is a chat box at the bottom, right? The bottom left, and it's red. And so I want you to join in. Once you join in, just say hello. Let me know who you are, where you're from, and all that good stuff. And in order to set the name, just click on set name, and then it'll allow you to add a temporary name that you can go ahead and type in, and then that way we'll know who you are. If you decide not to, just chat and say, hey, this is, from wherever, So I really want to greet you guys as you come on, if I can, and say hello. I'm going to give you tonight 5 tools that you can use to transform and elevate from a dreamer to a visionary. And so I have really, again, I have enjoyed this journey. It has been, I've had a few challenges here and there, but that's okay. I'm still coming back. I'm still doing it, and I'm going to perfect it, and I'm going to make it better and better. And so I appreciate you guys for coming, but I really want to make sure that you guys are getting the tools that you need in order to shift. So many of us are in a position where we are really, I call it the Sarah complex. So, and what we're doing is we're hiding those dreams and those visions and those desires in our heart, because we really do think that it's not going to happen for us. And so I want to help you shift on tonight. I want to help you shift. I'm going to give you some tools that you can use starting tonight to begin to make that shift. And not only that, I'm also going to give you an amazing opportunity at the end. So you got to stay tuned, as well as some bonuses just for coming in, just for joining me. I'm going to share with you some bonuses as well. Okay. So I want you guys to stay engaged. I want you to turn off your cell phones. I want you to get some pen and some paper, and a pen and some paper. And I want you guys just to join in with me and just take some notes, okay? Because I truly believe that the steps that I'm going to give you on tonight, they are applicable. Yeah. So, and you can apply them. You can begin to apply them on tonight. Okay. So again, stay tuned. I have some bonuses at the end, and I also have an amazing offer that I want to share with you guys. And it's time to shift. So let's go ahead and let's get started. So I am going to share my screen with you guys. Give me just a second. All right. All right. So SheVisonary, and you guys, I'm going to tell you a little bit more about what I do specifically. But SheVisonary was really all about the importance of becoming a visionary. And if you as a woman don't recognize how important it is for you to become a visionary, I really want to encourage you tonight to begin to think about that and to begin to think about where you are in this particular process. And so as I share these 5 steps and these 5 steps, I want you to think about where you are in this process. And I want you to consider where you want to be. And so tonight I'm going to share some amazing information with you. And so I want to start off by talking about a visionary. Okay, so I took the time to go ahead and define what a visionary is. And a visionary is a person who thinks about or plans their future with imagination or wisdom. Or it's a person with original ideas about what the future will or could be like, right? And so it's really up to you to do 2 things. I want you to identify or take note of 2 particular words that's extremely important in becoming a visionary. And it's up to you to do these 2 things specifically, right? So in order to become a visionary, you have to plan, and you also must have wisdom. You have to plan, and you must have wisdom. And so that is the importance of, those are the 2 things that are most important when you are pursuing your dream and your desire that's in your heart. In order to become a visionary, you must have a plan and you must have wisdom. Okay. And so I also took the liberty of defining a dreamer. And a dreamer is a person who dreams or is dreaming, or a person who is unpractical or idealistic. And so you guys, being a dreamer is okay. As a matter of fact, you want to dream. Many of us as small children had dreams and had desires. And when you went to school, your teacher would ask you, what do you want to be when you grow up, right? And so many of us, that meant that we had to have some imagination. We had to have a dream. And that's something that I truly believe is given to us and imprinted in our hearts when we're born. We're already born with a dream or a purpose. And so therefore, it's good for us to be able to tap into that and to be able to imagine or to think about what it is that we want to do. The challenging part about being a dreamer, is that, in order for you to become a visionary, you cannot stay there, right? And so I really want you to understand that there's absolutely nothing wrong with being a dreamer, but you don't want to stay there. You cannot stay there if it is your goal to become a visionary. Okay. And so I really want to make sure that you understand, in order to become a visionary, you absolutely must have a plan and a wisdom, and you can't stay in dream mode. You're going to have to take action. And I'm going to share with you some ways that you can do that on tonight. But addition to what I'm saying, to back me up, it was the great Harriet Tubman, the Moses of our time, who stated that every great dream begins with a dreamer. Okay, every great dream begins with a dreamer. Always remember, you have within you the strength, you have the patience, and you have the passion to reach the stars to change the world, right? So you already have what you need to change the world within you. And it starts with a dream. It starts with a dream. But again, you can't stay there. And if you truly have a desire to make an impact and to make a change in the world, then you have to act on that dream. But so many of you may be saying, you know what, Candace, I don't have the desire to change the world. I just want to change my life. I just want to change my family's life. I just want to change my income. I just want to be able to send my kids to a better school. I want to be able to send my children to college and not have to worry about it. I just want to change my family life. I just want to go on vacation, right? So no matter what it is that the dream is, no matter where you are, you have within you the ability to change it. And I'm encouraging you on tonight to really shift with me, and really begin to think about your dreams. As a matter of fact, I want you to go ahead and think about that thing. What is that thing that is within your heart? Right. And I want you to go ahead, and if you're on my regular page, I want you to go ahead and just type it in. And I think you can even type it into the chat on the YouTube page as well. But I want you to go ahead and type that in. Tell me what it is that you have a dream of doing. Tell me what it is that you've hidden deep down in your heart. And once again, what is it? What is it? Writing a book, or starting a business, or being a motivational speaker, or being a teacher, or getting your master's degree, or getting a degree, right? Or going back to college. Again, what is that dream that's hidden in your heart? And I want you to go ahead and write it down, or write it in the chat box, so that we can begin to think about how you're going to get there. Begin to think in your mind, how am I going to reach this dream? Okay. And so on tonight, I'm incredibly excited because I am indeed fulfilling my dream. And I didn't just get started today or last week or even last month. But I had a dream of being a full-time entrepreneur, and I had the pleasure of firing my boss, and I don't mean it in a negative way, but I had the opportunity to shift and to be able to fulfill my dream back in February, late February and early March, and I became a full-time entrepreneur, and I shifted. My dream came true, and I worked the plan, and I was able to see it now manifesting with you guys on tonight. And so I am the owner and founder of CBW Consulting, and the purpose of CBW Consulting is to be a change agent. Right. And so I decided that not only do I want to change my world, my personal world, I also wanted to make an impact in my family, and I wanted to make an impact in other people's lives as well. And so it's truly my desire to be a change agent and to empower women to elevate their mindset, to attract worthy and meaningful relationships. And so what do I mean by that? There are times for me, and I'm just speaking for me, that I have not always interacted or taken opportunities or had relationships that were worthy of me. And the reason why I say that is because I didn't truly recognize and understand my worth and my value. And so I settled for less than. And I endured things in relationships, and both personally and professionally, that I didn't have to endure. But I endured it because I didn't think that I deserved any better. I didn't think that I was worthy of better. And so I stayed in relationships that were unhealthy, or I stayed in a career that, although I learned a great deal in that career. It got to a point where I wasn't happy. I woke up many mornings and I wasn't happy about going to my job. I was not motivated and passionate about it anymore. And so, but I stayed there because I was comfortable. And it wasn't until really latter part of last year, when my father got ill and was diagnosed with cancer, that I decided that I needed to make a change. But also, what helped in making that change and making that decision was a couple of things. One thing was an assessment that I completed that was given by Brendan Burchard, which I utilize in the coaching offer that I'm going to share with you. But also, it was the fact that the organization, the agency that I was working for at that particular time was making some changes and they were downsizing. And one of the positions that they were looking at was my position. And I'd been working for this agency for 10 years. And although I understood that this is what happens in nonprofit organizations and many corporations across the country, these type of changes have to happen. I get it, but it still did not feel good. To be honest, it was kind of hurtful that they were looking at my position. And the only reason why they kept my position or was willing to keep my position at that particular time was because some other changes had been made in other positions. But just the fact that this was happening to me was enough for me to decide that I wanted to shift. And I did not ever want to end up in that situation again. And so tonight, I am so proud, so thankful, so grateful to have the opportunity and the fact that I was able to look at that situation as an opportunity to shift, as an open door for me to shift. I'm incredibly thankful for. And so I can't tell you how exciting it is for me to be able to work for myself and to be able to give you content that I've created and to share with you a testimony of how God can open doors for you to be able to pursue your dream. And so tonight, I stand or sit rather, just truly excited about everything that's going on. And I want to share with you that this can too happen for you. This can happen for you as well. And so the vision for CBW Consulting is that, we will help as many people as we can, and that we will be an agent of change, and that we will offer all of our clients excellent customer service, because we're all about being value driven. And that simply means that we are not just faith-based or value-driven from my perspective, but then we also look at your values as well, and we try to adhere to your values to the best of our ability. I want you to know that all of our client information is confidential, and that we will remain loyal to you as our clients and always strive to add value to your lives. And so this is just one way that I am able to add value to your lives. And so again, thank you so much for joining me on tonight. But how did I get here? Well, I'm going to share a little bit about my story and try not to be too wordy. But this is a picture of me at the age of 26, 27 years old, somewhere around there. And at this particular time, I had just, I was about a year or so into my divorce. And although you see this cute little smile and this, cute chick with this hat who's kind of sassy, what you don't know is that behind the smile was a young woman who was really struggling, who was really struggling with self-doubt, who was struggling with her self-esteem, who was confused, and who was nearly broken as a result of her divorce. As a young woman who had a desire to be married and to eventually be, have children and be a mom, I went into my marriage at the age of 23 with that desire, and I wanted to be a great wife and a great mom. And unfortunately, I went into marriage with the wrong mindset, if you will. I had unrealistic expectations of what marriage was supposed to be like, and unrealistic expectations of my then husband. And I was really trying to seek or fill a void that was left as a result of my relationship, or the lack of a relationship with my father. And so I made some very poor choices. As a matter of fact, I married my then husband knowing that he wasn't the man that I should marry. But I married him anyway, because I thought that if I loved him enough, and that if I tried to help him pursue his dreams, and that if I, went forth with the vision that he had to pursue business, that eventually he would love me, and eventually he would give me back the love that I was seeking. Little did I know that is not what happens. And as a result, at the age of 25, I ended up in divorce court. Not literally, but I ended up divorced. I ended up sitting in front of his attorney, getting a divorce. And I was devastated because at that particular time, I hadn't considered what I was going to do, or what life would be without him. I hadn't considered my dreams. I hadn't considered or even thought of the fact that my life had purpose, and I didn't really know what I was going to do next. And so I had to find myself, and I had to figure some things out. And thankfully, God placed some amazing people in my life who really helped me get through a very challenging time. And it resulted in eventually me being able to get on my feet and moving forward in life. But it was a struggle. It was a struggle. And so now, I really want to make sure that I help other women who have a desire to get married, or have a desire to be in healthy relationships, to learn to love yourself first and understand your worth and your value, and to create your own definition of success. Because I, at that particular time, had defined success as being married and helping someone else fulfill their dreams. And when it didn't work, I really got into a place where I felt that I was a failure. And so I had to learn how to shift, and how to have a growth mindset, and how to use my pain for purpose. And so it's been a long journey, but it has been a great journey. And so that is basically what led me here today. That's what led me here today. And so basically, in preparing tonight's presentation and preparing this webinar, I really wanted to think about the process that I went through as an entrepreneur. And that's one of the benefits, I think, of that relationship. I had to find something good to come out of it. And so it was so much that happened that wasn't good. But basically, what I did get from that relationship, apart from just finding myself and learning that my life had purpose and establishing a relationship with God, which is probably one of the best things that I could have done. But I also learned entrepreneurial skills. I also learned organizational skills. I also learned how to network and how to market. And so these are skills that I learned as an entrepreneur, because my ex-husband and I were entrepreneurs at that particular time. What we had decided to do was we were going to open a daycare facility. He had already started most of the work before we got married, and he was kind of like the money side of the business, and I was the operational side of the business, or he was the investor side of the business, and I was the operational side of the business. And so we decided to work together. And so tonight's process that I'm going to be sharing with you is basically the process that our architect utilized in order to help us design our daycare facility. Okay. And so basically what happened was my then husband purchased a building, and the building had been formerly used as a church. And so what he did was he purchased that building, and he decided that based on the location, that this was where he wanted to have the business. And so we went and got guidance from a mentor who told us, look, you need to hire an architect, because that's what's necessary for you to get your license. Okay. And you don't want to mess anything up. You don't want to spend unnecessary money. Go ahead, take the initial investment and hire an architect. So we hired an architect, and he came in and he basically took us through this 5-step process. But we hired him because we had a vision. Okay. We had a building that we wanted to use, and we wanted to take it from where it was, and we wanted to have it turned into and designed into a daycare facility. Okay. And so this is the 5-step process that this architect took us through. And I'm going to take you through that process tonight. And I'm going to kind of shift back and forth between the two stories, between that story and helping you utilize this process in order to identify how you're going to shift from dreamer to visionary. Okay. And so the first part of the process is the assessment process. The second part is the why, right? It's the why. And the third part of the process is the vision. The fourth part of the process is the plan. And finally, the fifth part of the process is the inspection process. And so again, right before we continue on, I want to take a moment to have you think about what that dream is. And I want you to write it down. What is that thing that is hitting in your heart? And I'm going to take you through the process. All righty. So the first part of the process is the assessment process. And so what happened in this part when we were working with the architect is he basically helped us go through an assessment. So he came in and he did a walkthrough. He assessed the building. He looked at it from the street sign all the way to the back of the building, and he walked through it to see what it was at that particular time, right? And so basically the importance of the assessment process is really to help you identify where you are now and then where you want to be. Okay, so where I am now. Okay, so for you, then let's take it back to you. Where are you now? Okay, for an example, you could be a mom who has never gone to college, and you have 2 children, but your dream is to get a degree. Or you could be a person whose dream and desire and purpose is to be a freelance writer, but right now you're working for a telemarketing company, right? So here I am. I'm here. I'm in this job. I'm in this field. I am living this life here, but I have a desire to be over here. So you want to take an opportunity to think about where you are now, and you want to think about where you want to be. Now, the thing about the self-assessment process is you have to be realistic about where you are. You can't be in denial about where you are. You got to be real, because you got to think about the process or the in-between process. And I'm going to share with you ways that you can fill in that middle part, but you got to be realistic. And then the other part about that is, of the self-assessment part, is you have to really think about what your motivators are. Okay? Or even what those hangups are. You know, what have you been telling yourself? Right? Where's your mindset in this particular process? Right? And so what have you been telling yourself? What are your hangups? What's kept you from trying to pursue your dream before now? So all of this is critical in the self-assessment process, and it's necessary to kind of think about that, because you have to think about what those barriers are so that you can eliminate those barriers. Or you have to think about what the justifications are so you can eliminate those justifications. Right? And sometimes eliminating those justifications is just about finding your why. And also identifying your mindset. Okay. And so that leads me to your next part of the process, which is your why. Right? So what's the reason why your vision or your dream has to happen? Okay, and I want you to ask yourself these 3 questions. If my dream came true, who will it impact? Okay, who will it impact? Okay, it'll impact me, because if my dream came true, I will be living a more fulfilling life. I will love to get up in the morning, right? I will be living out my purpose and my passion, and I will feel like my life has more meaning. Right? So that's just you. But if you're living a life that is meaningful, and let's say your dream also creates more income, who else will it impact? Well, I have 2 children or 3 children. And so just living out my dream will, and having more income will make it where I don't have to live paycheck to paycheck anymore. And it'll make it where I can take my children on vacation, or I can give my child a birthday party, because I haven't been able to do that in a very long time. Okay. So if your dream came true, who will it impact? Who will it impact? And I want you to ask yourself, how will it impact them? Okay, and I just gave you some examples just based off of income, like in increasing your income, how it will impact you, right? And what would happen if I don't fulfill my dream? What will happen if I don't get there? Well, if I don't fulfill my dream and therefore make more income, then I'm going to continue to be in debt. I'm going to continue to have to tell my kids no. I'm going to continue to have to live paycheck to paycheck. I'm going to continue to have to borrow from family members. And so these are motivators, hopefully, for you that will help you want to make that shift. Okay. And so when it came to the architect, he took us through this process, and this was so helpful for us because it really made the dream real for us. It really made it so important for us to get this done. we knew that in order for us to fulfill the dream, and it was more so his dream than mine, but because I wanted him happy, I wanted this to happen for him, and I was willing to do what I needed to do to help him make it happen. But we had a dream and a passion or a desire for our relationship to be the youngest entrepreneurs in that particular area. And it was significant for us because no one else was doing what we were doing. And so we wanted to make a mark, if you will. We wanted to make a mark in that community. And we wanted to, personally, for me, I really wanted to help people because I had a servitude type spirit. And I really had a bigger vision for that place than just being a daycare or a place to bring kids to babysit them. I really wanted to be a pillar in that community. And so that was truly my desire as well. But it made just him asking us, the architect asking us, what's your why? Why do you want to do this? This really, as we thought about it and we explained it, as we shared it, it really made the vision real, but it also motivated us to want it to want to make it work and to do the work to get it done. And so I really want you to think about this. I really want you to think about this and think about, based off of your dream, what's your why? How will this impact your family? And I want you to take some time just to type into the chat. Tell me, how would this impact your family? Go ahead and start answering these questions and thinking about this and processing this so that you can really begin to understand why this shift has to happen for you, why you have to fulfill your dream. And so the next part of the process is the vision. And there's a scripture in the Bible that is Habakkuk 2:2, and I'm paraphrasing. It says, write the vision, make it plain, and then run with it. Right? I'm paraphrasing, but write the vision. This is the third part of the process. Okay, so once you identify what the dream or your purpose is, right? And then once you think about the motivators and how your life will change and how your family's life will change and how the people that you serve lives will change. Once you get that and you've identified your motivators, then I want you to begin to write the vision. Yes, that means write down what it is that you want to do. Not just saying, oh, I want to be a freelance writer. No, write the vision. Write it out. I want to be this. My income will be this. The car I'll drive will be this. My home will be this, right? Write down the vision. Write it down. So where do you want to go, right? Think about these questions. Where do you want to go? What does life look like for you in 6 months, in 1 year, in 3 years, right? And so even though I want you to think about a year, 3 years out, I really want to get you to think about the next 6 months or the next year. What's your lifestyle? What will it be? How will it look? Right? And so I want you to dream big. I want you to write the vision. And some of you may even have heard of vision boards, right? You may even need to go ahead and create a vision board for yourself. I created my vision board for 2018 back in, I think, November of 2017. And I started to think about what my year would look like. And before I even got the opportunity to leave my day job to pursue my dream job, I had already put on my vision board that I would be a full-time entrepreneur. Before anything happened, before my dad got sick, before my job decided to downsize, I had already made the decision that I was going to be a full-time entrepreneur, and I was going to be my own boss. And the thing about that was I didn't know how it was going to happen. I just believed in my heart that it was going to happen. And so you have to see yourself before you see yourself. And so I really encourage you to go ahead and write the vision, right? You got to plan. You got to plan. And it's just like we stated in the definition of a visionary. You have to have a plan, and then you have to have wisdom, right? So this part right here is your plan, right? It doesn't have to be perfect, ladies, and even gentlemen, if you happen to listen. It does not have to be perfect. It's yours. That's all that matters. It does not have to be perfect. It is yours. Okay. And so I really want you to take some time to begin to write it down. What does life look like for you? I used the example of a freelance writer. I spoke with a wonderful young lady, very beautiful. She has a very beautiful spirit about her. And if you meet her any normal day, she's a very shy and reserved young woman. But just to talk to her in a brief consultation the other day, it was like she lit up. She was so excited. She knew that this was her being a freelance writer was her purpose and her passion. And she was able to think back to when she was in college and the experiences that she had as a writer and how much joy she got from it. And so after our consultation and after her watching this webinar, she contacted me and said, you know what, Candace, I got more clarity and direction on what to do. Why? Because she could visualize it. She began to see it, and she is writing the vision. So that's what I want you guys to do. I want you to write the vision. Now, the thing about writing the vision, and you can make it plain, but you're not a visionary until you take action. You're not a visionary until you take action and until you begin to work on the plan or work the plan. Not work on it, work it. Okay. And so this is the next part of the process. And so this was actually, and just to go back to the architect, the vision was actually the blueprint, right? The vision was the blueprint. So what he did was he took us around the building. He asked us our why and what we had a desire to do. But because he knew codes and guidelines, he knew what it is that we needed to do in the building. But he also took our vision of the building and how our daycare would look. And he took the guidelines and the codes that we had to follow, and he took our vision and our desires on how we wanted it to look, you know, the location of certain things. He took that, put it together, and he created a blueprint. Okay, so he gave us the plan, the blueprint, and then we had to take action. Okay, and so now in taking action, we didn't know how to build and how to create this plan, right? We didn't know how to do that. So we had to hire a contractor to do it. Okay, but that was our way of taking action. It meant finding someone who could do what we needed done and take action. But that was just the building. In order to have a full-on business, there were things that I had to do. There were things that my then husband had to do in order to follow the guidelines that were necessary for us to get a license and to open the business. So there were things that we had to do, right? And that is the action plan. Okay. In order for me to get from this, the church building, or the building that was once used as a church, to now a full-on daycare, a business open and operating with children, we had to take steps and we had to create an action plan. Okay, we had to hire staff. We had to get the regulations from the state, and we had to follow those regulations. Okay, they had regulations that stated the type of staff that we had, how many staff we had to hire, the rooms, how the as far as the square footage of the rooms, what type of equipment we had to have. There was so many details that we had to do before we could say, okay, we were open. So we had an action plan, and what we did was we got the rules and the regulations, we got the contractor working on the building, and we had to follow the action plan. And so in taking action, you absolutely must be productive. Okay, there's absolutely no way that you can be a visionary without taking action, because otherwise you just have a plan, you just have a dream. You know, we could have sat on that blueprint, but we never would have made it to owning and operating a business if we hadn't take action. And so when I think of the word action plan, I think of productivity, right? And so I want to share with you guys, which is something that you'll be receiving as a bonus for just attending tonight's webinar, share with you guys and a productivity routine that I implement, and it's called my morning jumpstart routine. And this is such a great tool to utilize because it really helps me become more productive. It helps me break down what I need to do in smaller steps in order to be productive. Okay. And so I'm just not talking about just doing things just to do it. Okay. I'm talking about actually identifying the steps that it will take to make your dream come true and to begin to work those steps. And so the morning jumpstart routine, when I utilize it daily, because sometimes I don't always utilize it as much as I should. When I first got started, I utilized this very often, you guys. And so it has really made a tremendous difference for me and being more productive. But tonight you will receive this productivity routine just for attending on tonight. And so again, it's called my morning jumpstart routine. And I'll share with you at the end on how you can actually download it. All right. And so you got to take action, you guys. And as a matter of fact, it was the late, great Nelson Mandela who said, action without vision is only passing time, right? It's only daydreaming. Action without vision is only passing time. You just working to work. Right? Vision without action is daydreaming, but vision with action can change the world. In order for you to change anything, whether it's the world or just your home or just your income or just, you know, your lifestyle, in order for you to make change, you must have a vision and you must take action. Okay. And so I didn't say it. I didn't just say it. Nelson Mandela said it. And so if Nelson said it, it has to be true. And so with that stated, I'm going to move on to the final part of this process, and that is the inspection process. And you guys, the inspection process is really important. Why? Because back when we were going through the process of getting the daycare opened, we had to go through an inspection process. And we had to undergo 2 inspections, one by the fire marshal who came in to make sure that we were up to code, right? And so the reason why the fire marshal, or one of the first things the fire marshal did when coming in to do his inspection was he wanted to know, did we hire an architect? And he stated to us, once we told him that we did, he commended us because he knew that we were going to be able to open rather quickly without wasting a lot of money and time, right? Because the thing about it, you guys, is the fire marshal is he or she is the only one for the state, and so he has to come out and get on your schedule in order to come out and do we have to get on his schedule to come out and do that inspection. And so had we not hired an architect, we could have potentially wasted a lot of time and money, and then we would have had to wait for him to put us back on the schedule in order for him to come back. So thankfully we hired an architect. We passed the inspection the first time, and we saved ourselves a lot of time and money. And so that was the first inspection we had to go through. And the second inspection was through the state. And so we had someone from the state who came through and inspected the place, made sure that we had everything that we needed, and gave us our license. And so this is the process, you guys, that I call the accountability process. Okay. And so there's absolutely nothing in life that you will do that you're not going to be held accountable for on some level. And so I really want to encourage you guys that as you go through this process, I want you to consider hiring someone who can hold you accountable, but not only that, who it has been where you're trying to go, and who can help you save time, money, and energy. Okay. And so you have to be willing to invest in yourself, because sometimes getting where we're trying to go, it takes some time, and we have to admit when we just don't know what to do. And so instead of just trying to figure it out, trying to use all the free videos that you can, and I'm not knocking it because I've done it, because your pocket is just what it is right now, right? But at the same time, some of us have to be willing to make certain sacrifices. We got to be willing to do that. And I remember when I started on my journey and walking in my purpose, and when the opportunity of becoming a virtual entrepreneur was presented to me, it was something that I'd never heard of before. I never really knew that there was something out there like this that I could do. And I didn't even know where to start. And so thankfully I was given this opportunity to work with a life and business coach who shared with me this world and who said to me, you can do this. You can do this. And this is how you can get it done. And I started before I was ready. I wasn't sure, but I made the investment, and I made some sacrifices in order to make that investment. And you guys, within the first 6 to 8 months, I made a return on that investment. So I want you to be encouraged, right? Starting a business is not easy, but it can be very fruitful. And I'm thankful to have the opportunity. And so business may not be your dream. It could be anything. But whatever it is, be willing to make the investment in yourself, to learn, to get wisdom on how you can make your dream a reality. Okay. And so just to kind of go back over this full process once again, the assessment process, you have to self-assess and identify where you are and where you have a desire to be. Okay, where you are, where you have a desire to be. What is the dream that you have hidden in your heart, and you're struggling like Sarah? Sarah and her husband, Abraham, had a desire to have a child, but they felt like they were too old. They felt like it would never happen for them. But then God said yes, and he gave them a child, right? But for a long time, Sarah hid her dream of being a mother in her heart. And she had that, yeah, right kind of attitude when she was told that she would have a son, because it hadn't happened for so long. She started to just believe that it would never happen for her. Her dream would never come true. And so many of you tonight who are listening to me, you have hidden that dream in your heart. And now it is time for you to make your dream a reality. God still wants to do it for you, but he wants to know that you're willing to do the work. And so you got to take a self-assessment. And in taking the self-assessment, you also have to identify what those barriers are. You know, are you operating from lack, or from a fixed mindset of I can't? And if that's the case, how do you begin to operate from a mindset of growth, and I can, and I will, and I'm not going to allow anything to stop me? Okay, so that's the importance of the assessment process. The second part is the why. What are your motivators? Okay, if you pursued your dream, who will it impact? How will it impact them? And if you don't, how will it impact them? If you don't fulfill your dream, how will it affect them? Right? There are people out there who need what you have. And so you sitting on your dream is only hindering them from getting where they need to go. And so I truly want to encourage you to think about that. Think about what fulfilling your dream would do for your children. I think I saw a mom recently who was a single mother, or who ended up having, she never went to college, and she couldn't go to college because she had a child, and she had a son. And so when her son graduated high school and went to college, she went to college, and they both went to college together, and they both graduated together. And I think about how amazing that must have been, or must have felt, for not only the mom to fulfill her dream, but how amazing that must have felt for her son. So think about it. How will your dream impact your children? What are you teaching your children when you begin to pursue your dream? And what are you teaching your children when you don't? So think about that. Think about that. And then the next part is the vision. Write the vision, make it plain. But then don't sit on it, run with it. Okay? So write it down. See yourself before you see yourself. What type of house will you be living in a year, 2 years, 3 years from now? What type of car will you be driving? What will you be doing with your children? Okay, what type of lifestyle? If for the singles out there who have a desire to be wives and mothers, right? What are you gonna do? What's the vision? What's the vision? Do you realize how important it is for you to be a visionary? I truly believe in the law of attraction. And the law of attraction says, and I'm paraphrasing, that basically you attract what you think. So if you think positive, positive comes. If you think negative, negative comes. So I want you to think about it. Where's your thinking? And if you are working towards becoming a visionary, then guess what? You will attract a man with vision. And the thing about being in a visionary status, if you are in a place where you are a visionary and you are an asset, you get to a point where you recognize your worth and your value. And so therefore, you will not settle for less than you are worth. You will not settle for less than you deserve. And you'll be able to recognize counterfeits All right, I'm gonna move on. That's a whole other training, which I want you guys to stay tuned. But true, I'm telling you, for those of you who are listening, I want you to understand the importance of being a visionary. It definitely shifts everything and everyone around you. Okay, so I want this for you guys. So begin to write the vision and then the plan. Create an action plan. Don't run with it. Run with it. Don't just write the vision, run with it. So, how are you going to take action? What are you going to do? How are you going to get there? And again, if you don't know, then hire someone who can help you. Hire an architect, someone who can help you create the plan and then, or create the blueprint and then hold you accountable. Okay. And that leads me to the last part, which is the inspection. And so with that stated on tonight, you guys, I want to take an opportunity to share with you an amazing offer, amazing opportunity that I have. And it's called my Destiny Blueprint Intensive. And you guys, this is an opportunity to work one-on-one with me, the mindset architect, to help you through the 5-step process that I have shared with you on tonight. And so what will happen in this intensive is you will get a 3-hour power session to help you transform from a dreamer to a visionary. And in this particular session, it will be one-on-one. It will be a private one-on-one session with me via Zoom video conferencing from the comforts of your own home. So you don't have to worry about anybody seeing you go into a place, to do a one-on-one session. You don't have to worry about anyone knowing what it is that you're doing. You can do this from home, right? You can still go throughout your day and schedule a time that you and I can meet one-on-one. And I am also open to breaking it into 2 1.5-hour sessions, because I do know some people struggle with their attention span. So I get it. But this is a one-on-one power session from the comforts of your home via Zoom. It's confidential and it is value driven. So basically, the intensive is just an opportunity for us to really do a self-assessment. So we're going to start with that self-assessment, and I'll help you identify which mindset you operate from. And there are 2 mindsets, and I think I've mentioned them already: the fixed mindset and a growth mindset. And so I help you assess where you are, right? I help you identify whether you operate from a fixed mindset or a growth mindset. And we do this through an assessment process, as well as I help you, I have you also go through the assessment that I went through in shifting and making my decision to go into business full time and to leave my day job. And so the other part of that is I help you identify self-defeating thoughts and then develop affirmations. And so we sit down during this session and we talk about those things that you told yourself that are now barriers or hindrances and keeping you from making your dreams come true. And then we begin to create affirmations to redirect those thoughts. And so I'm telling you guys, this is so important, because had I not gone through some level of this, I would probably still be at my day job, struggling to get up every morning, struggling because I was working long hours, 60 hours, but only getting paid for 40. Tired, not able to come home to visit my family, not able to spend holidays with them, not able to see my grandmother who is in a nursing home. These are things that I wasn't able to do as often as I wanted to do. But you guys, because I made that decision and because I had been working the plan, God eventually gave me the desires of my heart because he knew I was ready. And he opened the door for me to be able to do that. And I can't tell you guys how amazing it has felt to be. I mean, how I felt just being able to support my family and support my dad, even though he works my nerves sometimes. But to be able to do what I love and support my family has just been a tremendous. It just really just gives me so much joy. So I really want to help you guys identify those hangups and those mind blocks that's hindering your growth, those things that are keeping you held back from being able to pursue your dream and your purpose. I also help you design what success looks like for you. And as I mentioned earlier, I went into marriage with my own definition of success, right? And my definition of success didn't include me. It didn't include my dreams. And so I want to help you identify what success looks like for you. And that's important because you're going to need it. Because there are going to be people as you go on your journey who are not going to understand why you're doing what you're doing, why you're pursuing what you're pursuing. And you're going to have to be able to keep your why on your mind. And you're going to have to be able to keep the vision ahead of you and make sure that you are keeping those motivators beside you. And think about those things, because you're going to want to give up on the plan, because not everybody is going to understand it. Not everybody is going to support it. But if you know what success looks like for you, that's all that matters. Excuse me. That is all that matters. And so I help you identify and design what success looks like for you. And it's really based off of your worth and your value. And so finally, I will help you create an action plan that you can begin to implement immediately for ultimate success. Okay. And so again, I want you to take an opportunity to think about where you are in that process. And if you haven't even gotten started yet, that is okay. Guess what? This opportunity, this offer that I'm sharing with you tonight is really going to get you on track, and it's going to get you in alignment to begin to work on the plan and to have your dream manifest. Okay. And so it doesn't matter where you are in the process, this offer will help you. It will be resourceful to you. And so, as I stated earlier, I have a few bonuses that I want to share with you just for tuning in with me. It is the first one is the morning jumpstart productivity routine. This routine is, I'm telling you, you guys, it has been so resourceful to me. I've given this routine to my clients, and all of them love the routine. We all waver sometimes in doing the routine, but even if you do it, I would say even if you do it twice a week, it still will help you be productive. Okay. And so I break it down into five to seven categories. I limit it to about 5 because you're only one person. You can only do so much, but you can probably break it down into, if you do it every morning, I would recommend 3 to 5 areas, core areas that you would work on, and then action steps under each area. But anyway, you get the download. You'll get the guide, and you can download it, and you can listen to my audio copy explaining it to you more thoroughly. And for the sake of time, I won't get into it, but you'll be able to go to the link. As a matter of fact, it's right at the bottom of the page. If you're on my lead page, it's at the bottom of the page. You're just going to click on add to the cart, today's bonus. Add to cart, and then it will take you immediately where you can download these bonuses. And so You'll also get the accountability partner checklist. These two amazing women that you see with me in the picture are my accountability partners. They have been amazing, and I have been so blessed to have them in my life. And so there's a saying that says, show me your circle and I'll show you your future. And so, and I'm again, that's paraphrase, but basically what that says is, and another one says that you are the sum total of the 5 people that you hang with the most. So I want you to, and this is an action step that you can actually do. I want you to take an opportunity to think about the 5 people that you hang with the most, and think about their character. Okay, not just their personality, but their character. Think about their character, and think about their demographics, right? So think about how productive they've been in life. Think about their careers. What do they do? Think about, are they hard workers? Are they partiers? Do they make more money than you? Are they like-minded? Are they purpose-driven? Think about their characteristics. And the thing about it is, if everybody in your circle makes less money than you, that's not good. If you make more money than the people in your circle, that's not a good thing. Okay. And so this accountability checklist is really just characteristics that I share that you should look for in like-minded people. You should look for in those who you have in your circle. All right. And I'm sure that there are so many more that I could have put on this list. But when I was creating this list, I really thought about the ladies that I have been blessed to have in my circle. And these were characteristics that I saw in them, and that I even see in my clients. And so this is another tool that I'm giving to you tonight as a bonus, and you can download it and keep it with you. Last but not least is my affirmation creed. And this is the creed that I created when I was going through my transition after my divorce. Because there is life after divorce, you guys. And so this was what I needed to say to myself each and every day to make sure that I was good, to make sure that I started off my day on a positive note, that I started off my day in a place of healing and forgiveness. And so you're going to get the affirmation creed today as well. And also in my audio, the audio version of my productivity routine, I do share 2 other tools that you can utilize as well to be more productive and to begin to work out your action plan. Okay, so these are the bonuses that you all will receive just for coming in, just for sitting and chilling and listening to me on tonight. And so these are your bonuses. But for those of you who decide that you are ready to work with me, you're saying, you know what, Candace, I really need help. I need an architect. I need somebody that's going to help me save time, money, and energy through this process so that I can get there quicker, right? And so if you decide that you want to work with me and you decide to purchase the intensive, the blueprint intensive, and work with me, then you'll also receive this particular bonus. Now, this bonus is the Destiny Blueprint follow-up, and it is a 30-minute accountability session. And so after you work with me in the Blueprint Intensive, we'll schedule your follow-up roughly 3 to 4 weeks later, and I am going to sit down with you again via Zoom, and we're going to talk about where you are, okay, where you were and where you are now as far as your plan, okay? I truly believe that when we have someone who's holding us accountable, that we are more productive. When we don't have anyone there to push us and to encourage us and to check to see where we are, then guess what? We won't get anything done. I know that's how I am. I know that's how I am. When I was working out, when I had the desire to really work out, I hired a personal trainer. Okay. I could tell a difference when I work with a personal trainer as far as getting my weight loss goals done versus if I was doing it on my own. And the fact of the matter is I was more productive because I knew that between sessions, I had to do certain things. I had to follow my meal plan and I had to do my workouts. And when he came back for the next session, he was looking for progress, and progress meant he was checking to make sure that I was making progress. How did he know I was making progress? I would be able to get through those workouts a little bit easier than I did the time before if I was actually doing or actively doing the workouts in between sessions or doing the homework or the meal planning. He could always tell when I wasn't eating right because I would get sick at the next session. And he was like, "You've been eating junk. You have not been eating right." And so it was because I had somebody who was going to hold me accountable that I was able to be more productive. And so this session is a way for me to do that. All right. And we're going to talk about your progress and where you are in your action plan. And I'll continue to give you some tips on how you can be more productive. Okay. And so you'll get this when you sign up with me. Okay. And so as I stated, you'll get all of the 3 bonuses at the top: the accountability partner handout, the affirmation creed, and my morning jumpstart routine just for attending tonight's webinar. But if you decide that you want to work with me, then tonight's cost, and actually through Saturday, July 14th, the cost of my intensive will be $297. Total value, guys. Total value is $845. But you get all of this for $297. And so I'm incredibly excited for you guys. I'm incredibly excited. I want you to know, hurry up. Hurry. Time is limited. I'm only offering this program until 11:59, and I changed the date. It's on July 14th. I'm only offering this program until July 14th. I wanted to take some time to do several live sessions just to share this opportunity with you. And I also know that, sometimes we got to wait for paydays. So I wanted to give you guys an opportunity to do this, to make this investment in yourself and in your future. And so July 14th, this coming Saturday, 11:59, this opportunity goes away. And I am limiting how many clients I'm going to work with. Okay. And so once the slots are filled, they're gone. So go ahead, take action now. At the bottom of the page, click on where it says today's bonuses. Click on add to cart. Go ahead, download those bonuses, and go ahead and book your seat today. They are filling up, people. They are filling up. So I really want you guys to go ahead and get in. Saturday is a few days away, and so a lot can happen. And so I'm excited. I'm getting a lot of people who said, "Hey, Candace, I'm ready to work with you." So I'm tremendously blessed, and I want you guys to get on this offer on tonight. Okay. And so with that stated, thanks for tuning in, and I am going to come back on and look at everybody. Okay. Yay! Okay. Hello, hello. All right. Thank you guys so much for joining me on tonight. I appreciate your time. I appreciate you guys for tuning in and listening to my presentation. I surely and sincerely hope that something I've said has helped you on tonight, that you can actually utilize the information that I've given you on tonight to continue on to pursue your purpose, your passion, and your dreams. And so, again, I would love to work with you guys. I'm excited about this journey, and I want to really help you on your journey as well. And so, I think that is it, you guys. That is all. I appreciate your time. And until next time, God bless you. God keep you. Remember, deadline July 14th, 11:59. Okay. And for those of you who may have joined via the YouTube link at the bottom in the description area is the link to actually go ahead and purchase the intensive. Okay. All right. God bless you. God keep you. Till next time. Bye-bye.